Ooh, it's loud. Make sure we're on target here. Yes. All right, so thermal imaging. Obviously, you guys can see me in that picture. It's orange, red, and yellow. At least I should be, and everything around me is blue and black. This is set up to white, hot, black, cold. So everything around me is going to be the colder temperature. Obviously, my skin's going to be warmer than the 75 degrees that we're standing in.
Right.
So really what we're looking for out of this guy is blue and black things to move on their own. So it's not so much the stick figures, it's more like, and I'll show you guys more evidence as we kind of roll along.
Right.
This is kind of a quick intro to get us started. But what's going to be weird about this is you might not see anything tonight. I'm going to watch this tomorrow morning and little hot spots based on the other activity.
Because what I've done is on live video, like live chats and things like that, I've seen things through the screen and I'll turn around and I won't see them.
Yeah.
But they'll be on my screen.
Sure.
So I've had experience.
I've
seen apparitions through the screen, but never directly in front
of me.
That's
probably based on your ability, not what so much somebody else would be seeing. Right. So when I move myself out of the camera, it's going to fluctuate a little bit. So that orange, red, and yellow is going to go somewhere else. It's obviously moving to the ground at this point. We want to try to keep somebody, a person, a real person, in view at all times. Try to. We don't have to put it in somebody's face, but with that being said, we need a baseline. So when I'm watching these videos tomorrow morning, it's going to be a matter of what am I seeing that's moving based on some of the other pieces that we're going off. So does this catch something every night? Doesn't. It's just nice to have it the ready. So, and the things that I have caught with it were, what's the word? Candid. So it wasn't planned. Obviously, it wasn't like somebody said, oh, put it over here. It just happened to catch it on video. Ooh, that didn't sound good, did it? He's, of course, going to make his wide right turn. So that's going to go to you.
Okay.
Now, the red square that you see on there, that means it's recording. So if it turns to a circle, just tap it and let me know. That means I just have to splice some video together. And that way you guys have one long video to watch.
If it turns what now?
It turns to a circle.
Oh, okay.
So I already have it set up to record. Your finger's right over the screen.
I was going to say, where's, oh, it's over here.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's the attachment that's on there.
Okay.
There's a battery pack attached to the back of that to keep the camera charged. It's only meant to last an hour. We're obviously going to be out here a minimum of 90 minutes, so I need it to last longer than that. In the wintertime...
What happens?
Uh-oh, you touched a button.
Oh, it must be more like
You're good.
Touching the button.
Yeah, there's still regular phone buttons on there.
Okay.
So, you're actually going to be double-fisted tonight.
Okay.
So, with that being said, I'm going to start you off with one of the apps that I use regularly. Just so you kind of, well, let's go get one first. So that way we're on the mindset of the spirit boxes. So you're going to have two different spirit boxes. Okay. So the methods that I use are a little untraditional because, again, I don't get experts all the time.
Right.
I don't get people that listen to this stuff on a daily basis. Also know, when I was fiddling with my phone when we first got started, that was me setting up the audio, which is going to stay on my phone, so you guys have the point of reference for the stories or any EVPs that are going to pop up. Okay. So do you watch any of this stuff? Am I speaking in layman terms enough?
I have. I don't think
What's
we've
that?
seen any
EVPs, do you know what those are?
Any shows or any ghost story shows? Or
Not really, no.
So those are electronic voice phenomena. It's voices we can't hear with our own ears. Usually use electronics of some sort to try to capture that. So that's another reason I don't listen to the audio, just so you know. I review the video, or spirit box stuff, but I don't go through the audio. I know the stories. You know, it's mainly just a reference. So if something pops up, you guys will have to let me know. And I'll double check it. So, spirit boxes, we're going to use two different types tonight. This one in particular, what these guys do is they actually sweep through FM radio stations at a quick rate. On your TV shows, it's the white noise, and then Zach Bagans tells you the BS that he thinks he heard.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're going to be doing it in real time. So the interesting thing about the way I have this set up, for people that aren't used to listening to this, I have it set up slower, so it's not just white noise. I want the radio chatter to come through. So when you hear something, whether it be a radio DJ, a song lyric, a commercial, any little tidbit of information you can have, it's a 50-50 shot that it might be something trying to come through, giving me a message. Yeah. So again, I can't make the stuff up. If we get a direct answer, I don't go after it, and we're going to talk more about spirit boxes at our first location. Cool thing about this particular spirit box is it records the entire session for us, no outside noise, even on mute. So right now it's already recording at a nice even level. You're going to control the volume in real time with this little dial at the top. It's just a little wheel. Okay. Obviously when I'm telling you stories, and I'm going to say let's go ahead and turn the spirit box down, it's fine because it's recording. I'm going to listen to it tomorrow morning in hotspots again, just like the video. But with that said, I'll give you a few audio markers, whether they're relevant or not, just to kind of help train your ear of what to listen for. Okay. If it is relevant, I'll tell you why, based on the location, a person, something going on with one of us, with a link. So if I say, hey, how old was Eliza when she got married, and it gives us that answer, then I'm obviously going to put that in there and then give you the link of where that information came from. So it's not going to be Wikipedia, it'll be legitimate backlinks. So this first one goes to you. Again, wheel at the top. We want to keep it down for now because we're going to go through two more devices. you are going to be using an app on a separate phone. So the reason why is because this particular app is usually my base point of what's actually happening around us.
Okay.
So it's going to give us a word in the center of the screen, okay, from time to time, and then it's going to save them all to a list.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you about the list. 80% of whatever we get is bullshit. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So
I've used an app similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one's upgraded. It has 9,100 words in there, terms and phrases.
Okay.
I'm still seeing things, even after using this thing for 5 years, phrases I haven't seen before. So the question is it's going to give us a word randomly anyway. The question is it the app giving us the word, or is it something very relative to where we are giving us the word? There's last night's list. I'm going to clear them out to start you guys off fresh. All you have to do to be able to see the list, look at that achievement, the first word we have.
Yeah.
You hit the little calendar next to it. Oh, it's not going to give us achievement.
What is the name of that app?
This one is Ghost Hunting Tools. That's all it's called.
I have Ghost something on mine.
At the top of your data page tomorrow, everything I use is listed at the top,
Okay.
including apps, free versions, and everything. So you're going to get this guy, so you're going to be double-fisted, and I'm going to be using something. It's my latest tool, and I'm using it just because I'm still learning more and more about it because it keeps giving me different types of data.
Okay.
It's called a millimeter. Are you familiar with those?
Never heard of it.
Millimeter does 3 different things. So in case Dave finds something on his camera, I can debunk whether it is an actual cold spot or if it's something coming from a vent or
Okay,
along those
gotcha.
lines.
Okay.
So it gives us ambient temperature at the very bottom.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm familiar with that. I just didn't know what it was called.
So that's what this little yellow probe does. So if you see a blue dot on me, I want to find out where it's at, kind of thing. The second thing it's going to do is give us an EMF reading, which is the big numbers at the top. So EMF, I get excited about anything over 2.5 and not in a rhythm. The TV shows use I have the K2, the very cheap one, and they're very sensitive.
Key.
But this one in particular, like the patterns that show up. So say it goes from 2.5 to 3, 2.5 to 3. That's usually from something man-made. So I don't want that either. I want it to be
higher.
jumping all over the place. I want it to go to 16 and then down to 2, 14 and then 5. Oh, that's interesting.
That's what I'm saying. The words that we're going
the last thing, are you familiar with a REM pod?
Yes.
Okay, so this has a built-in REM pod.
Okay.
So REM pod detects movement. I'm speaking to you directly because she already knows what it is.
Yeah.
So I will pull the antenna up from time to time. It's creating an EMF field around the antenna. If something gets close to it, it's going to go off. The closer it gets, the higher it's going to go. So again, I'll use that from time to time, and I might even break off from you guys a little bit just so I can do my own question and answer session while you guys are doing the same thing, and you're going to be the video camera guy because you're the skeptic. So I have jokes all night long. Man.
Okay.
So, but this guy stays on me. I will keep it on. It'll be in my side pocket, and I'll teach you more about this kind of extra stuff. And I do have a whole bag of stuff, but this is the most recordable stuff that you guys are going to get back.
Okay.
So the audio, the video, obviously the full word list. They don't hide anything, and then obviously the S-Box recording.
Why are you getting so?
Because what we're talking about, these words are going with what we're talking about.
Oh,
It's
okay.
almost like whoever's hanging out with us right now is listening and kind of repeating back to let us know that, I mean, you're not specific enough.
Yeah.
But it's still relative. So
And you're skeptic, so you're not understanding the communications that we're getting from the discussions we're having. So that's why you're not understanding what
I'll be honest, like, I won't highlight any of those terms because A, I can't prove it. Now, if it said EMF or red light or something along those lines, that's a little bit more specific.
Yeah, when he was talking about EMF, it's a key, and the EMF readings in that device is the key to debunking a lot of stuff.
Right,
So
exactly.
to me, that's where I related the key term. Score.
Well, that's relevant because of where we are. So let me tell you about the story of why we're here. So we start here at this very weird, random, non-touristy type place because it's called, it used to be called Big John's. That's relevant to the next location. Okay, just hang on. Let me get through the story before you start interrupting. Look at her getting all eager.
I know.
Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. I'm always going to give you repeat, like, keywords. So this one is 1947 New York Giants. So it was named after him. He owned the place. He used to sit in the back of the bar, right inside this window, and he would kind of nod off to the bartender if the cadets. Sorry, I lost the word there for a second. If the cadets were coming over and they weren't old enough to drink. So one night, 2 guys come in. They're not old enough. Big John tells the bartender, "Get them out of here. They have to leave." So they leave. They come back pretty pissed off the next day, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John sees this. They get into a little bar brawl. All of a sudden, a couple of shots go off, and John gets hit in the neck with a bullet, and it ricochets and lands in the wall. He gets up, he goes back to the bar, and he tells the bartender to get him another beer and get the 2 guys on the floor in an ambulance. Now, nobody died in that story, so the haunting in this place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. I say allegedly because they are renovating right now. I have to go in and verify to see if it's still here once they're done. Hopefully they don't fill it in. But this is where people at the front of the bar get a little dizzy and nauseous and those kind of things. So again, please let me know if you feel like you guys do.
And I'm sure I'll feel nauseous. That's common for me.
I kind of break away and you've taken any tours in Charleston yet?
Just
Any
the,
what?
the
Tours at all?
just the one today with the horse.
The house carriage, the carriage
historic
ride
one.
around.
Okay,
Yeah.
so did they talk about an earthquake that we had in
Yes.
1886? This is allegedly where the first death occurred. So the mantle that's above your heads over there also wraps around the front of the building. Allegedly, a piece of that broke off from the earthquake, struck somebody in the head, and killed them. Their ghost is said to be seen right here on East Bay Street. I say allegedly because I don't have any proof. So this is actually where we start to move. And that's only the segue story, so people aren't thinking that, oh my God, I could get sick from this tour because I might have worried mom with me. So
Yeah.
I change the subject quick. All right, so questions, comments, concerns so far. I know you're stoked. I love that you're so excited. And I'll be honest, I get groups and tours where people aren't as excited as you are, and they're really quiet, and it's like pulling teeth because this is interactive. Like, you guys got to talk to me, tell me what's going on. But this is going to be a fun night. So let's head down this way to get started. That's why the reason scored when it's relevant. It's a football player. So I'm going to figure the football term. I'm going to get more excited at something like stadium, where his jersey number shows up, and something else. First and foremost, you guys are going to find out that I love parking lots. I'm not taking you to random lots to show you where to park throughout your time here. You said this is your last night anyway. But I take you to places that once were, or where I actually get activity from.
Okay.
This particular lot, this is what I call the Big Red Barn lot. So we're still pretty close to Lake John's, so we're going to talk more about spirit boxes. History of this place, yes, there are horses in there. This is where we keep them for palmetto carriage, I believe this building is. I'm coming here for 2 years, and I still don't know which damn company it is. Again, being the owner, I'm so busy and entailed my own business. But anyway, the horses are in there, so we're not going to be too noisy if we get close to those windows up there. But this is the same barn that we had horses in that delivered milk to Charleston. So with spirit boxes, it's not TV. It's not, is somebody here? Because if you hear the word no or somebody answers no, that means somebody's here. Somebody freaking answered you. So we're going to stay away from yes or no questions altogether, just if we want detail. So with that said, we're going to start off with something simple. You're a little bit more advanced than most of my guests that I have, so we're going to still start you off with something simple. If somebody's here, tell me what color the barn is. Okay. With that being said, one thing I'll listen for, obviously, is the color red. But I'll also listen for words that mean specifically red. Items that might be specifically red. Blood, heart, fire truck. I use those 3 examples because they've come up here before.
Yeah.
They just couldn't find the damn word from a DJ to tell us the word red. So they gave us fire truck. And so that's kind of my mentality behind that. In the event you're not getting an answer out of that after asking a few times, you want to move on a little bit. Open it up. What's inside that barn? They're horses, they're animals, they're draft horses. They were delivery horses that delivered milk and eggs. Protein and calcium have shown up here several times. I have had sodium show up on this particular spirit box a couple times here, but I can't prove that they actually delivered salt.
Okay.
So I can't find it anywhere that any horses anywhere during that time frame delivered salt. So this is kind of an area where you get to kind of get used to asking questions out loud, which I'm sure you're used to anyway.
Act normal.
Act normal. Love it. I will highlight that one. That's a good one. I honestly don't think I've ever seen that on there before. So
And it went really red before that word popped up too.
all that extra bullshit on there, it's for aesthetics. Like it really doesn't mean anything. So sorry for the language, guys. I'm pretty laid back.
You're fine.
But yeah, that's exactly what I need you to do. What's
Plants.
the same? That's the next place. Crops and plants. We're going to be
Yeah,
talking
'cause
about
you would
Eliza
say crops
Pinkley.
and
Right. So again, I'm excited about some of these. Like, I don't know what's going on with you right now, but like you're going to be capturing quite a bit, and I'm hoping your recording is going to be capturing a lot too. So with you, you're the cameraman. With this particular location, what's great for you is you have wood, you have asphalt, wood, foliage. That's a word I use all the time that showed up on your spirit box. But you get to see how those temperatures change. At the next location, I will show you a little bit more evidence so that way you have a better idea of what you're looking for. I literally want you guys just to take one lap, listen to that spirit box, use the two of them together, and you get used to the different temperatures that are showing up in there. I'm going to check you guys in while you guys are kind of making your lap, and then we're going to move on to the next location. Is that fair?
So you want us to walk around?
Yeah, just take one lap around this lot, kind of walk at a normal pace, and then turn up this spirit box just loud enough for the two of you to hear. We don't want to spook those horses, but literally ask those type of questions. If somebody's here, what color is the barn? If Big John's here, what was your jersey number? You know, those kind of things I can prove. But right now I want you to ask things that you already know. So that way you're definitive, like, oh my God, I just heard the color red. You know, I want you to get that excited about it. So again, take a lap. I'm going to check you guys in from, my booking agent, and then we'll move on to the next spot. Dave's like, let's do this.
Okay, whatever.
He's like, you're sending me away with all this gear. That's great.
Are you asking questions? What'd you ask?
What color is the barn? Where are we at? What is inside this building?
What is that, a radio? Sounds like a radio, huh?
Who is the football player? Have a jersey number. What parking lot are you in?
Did you know to do that?
What kind of food is in this location or drink? What color is this building
Alright, so did you get anything out of it? Screen.
All sorts of random words are coming off of this. So
Have you heard anything specific?
it was hard to tell. I mean, there were certain things, but it was coming so fast through.
Yeah. And that's what they're recording to.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the old school SB7 spare box.
Yeah.
The one with the attached speaker and BS. I don't pull it out. I use this one first.
Yeah.
So when I do my own investigations, because that's what my podcast is. It's my stuff. I have
But it
that
was
on my
weird
phone.
because it wasn't just like one word. Some of them were like a couple words together that made sense. So
Okay.
it's like,
But it's going to be slowed down. I want it that way on purpose.
Yeah.
So what color is the barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. I don't need Rudolph the reindeer. I need red. So that's why we do that. I mean, that's just a method that I use. I do have a separate one of these that I use a Faraday wallet for. Are you familiar with that? So a Faraday wallet is basically like, it has a metal coating. Nope. You want to go just off of it. I know, it's touchy. And you're my test market for this phone. But the Faraday wallet will cut off any outside noise. So it's only going to give me white static. I just did an investigation up in Pennsylvania last week. So I haven't gone through it yet to see if anything came through, but I literally have 90 minutes of hopefully static and a couple of disembodied voices. So I won't have the radio chatter. I have that recording too, but I have the Faraday recording as well.
and this is recording the questions I've asked.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Okay.
No outside noise.
Okay.
So at all, so it doesn't hear us at all. The great thing is if we really want to get technical, I can actually sync that up to that. So
Okay.
that way the audio is together.
So that is recording what the question.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So it is recording audio and video.
Okay.
And I've done that for my more
Because I'm gonna
advanced
be like, I
customers.
don't remember half the questions I asked it, but okay.
Well, the good thing is I'm not going to send you off on like this kind of thing a
Yeah.
lot. This was just so people get a little weird about the teacher hanging over the shoulder and seeing if they're asking the right questions. So I usually send people, do a quick lap, let me check you in, and then we'll move on to the next one. So I'm not getting anything on this guy. It's spiking up a little bit. And the nice thing about this is you can shut the temperature off, so all the battery power is now going into the EMF because the REM pod isn't on either. So if this starts to really get
Then
wonky,
you'll turn the REM on.
right, and then kind of see what's going on. All right, so let's go learn some real history. What do you think, Dave? You ready?
Alrighty.
Like,
Yeah.
This is all about you guys.
Okay, yeah, you guys have fun. I just do things to make her happy. I gave up my favorite Italian place for this little tour tonight. I'll let you know that.
Which place was that?
In Daco. You ever been there?
Nope.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
He was like, I've eaten there before. It's not that big of a deal. I was like, definitely cool because it hasn't shown any words when you're not talking and stuff. But when we were having all this conversation up there, it really popped up. So, missionary.
So I'm going to turn the REM pod on while I do this story, only because I'm curious. I haven't done that before, so as I kind of tell you what this place is, I want to see if anything kind of helps us out. So, again, if you guys don't know where to park downtown, by the time you're done with me, I don't know where to park. Again, this place used to be...
I do want to tell you when, with my experience with spirits,
Okay.
when I feel there's something around, I'll have to take like a touch my breath type of thing,
Okay.
and I have gotten that a couple of times already.
Really, just from that lot.
Yeah, and then right now I got it again.
I'm sure.
As soon as you said, I'm going to turn my red pod on.
This particular location, if I were to have a grand finale, this would be it. So there's that much activity here. I have it at the kind of the beginning of the tour, just so people get excited about actually seeing activity going on. Okay? Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. That's what used to be here. So
The what now?
Charles and Eliza Pinckney. This is where their mansion was. It was actually in the front of this lot, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was over there by that left tree and came all the way across. And we're standing in where the servant quarters would have been. So
There's a big blue circle around your heart mean anything?
that's the.
There you go. Okay.
So
Yeah.
try to keep it close so that way it's recording the whole thing. That's the audio recording.
Okay.
So who the heck? Just wait a little bit. Charles and Eliza actually had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. So the son and the nephew. By the way, that was 3 Charleses. I don't know how many guys.
And what was the last name?
Pinckney.
Pinckney. Okay, so it wasn't Pinkerton. Okay.
Nope, it was
Yeah,
Pinckney.
okay.
And we actually met at the corner of Pinckney and East Bay Street. So just kind of give you a perspective. But the son and the nephew were signers of our Constitution for South Carolina. So it was a pretty big deal for us. Nobody comes to this lot because there's nothing to see. However, we're going to hopefully see quite a bit here. Getting more spice. Sorry, I keep looking down at it. It's probably a bad idea for me to have this out. But I don't like politics. I don't think anybody really does. So we're going to actually move on and talk about Eliza and her plants. So Eliza married Charles at a very young age. I'm not going to tell you what that age is. You're going to get the answers from your spirit box or whatever intuition you have. Charles was a lot older than her, so you can ask your spirit box what were those ages. However, she married Charles because her father thought he was dying over in England. He wanted all his kids home to see him one last time.
15's coming to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's not the answer to the question I just gave you, but it is a relevant age.
Okay.
She was left here at the age of 15 by her father and brother, who went back over to England because the son had to go back to school. So she was left here to manage a plantation at 15 years old. So it's weird that number popped up, and I remembered it off the top of my head because it's not something I normally include. But Dad thought he was dying, wanted kids home. She said, no, I don't want to come home. So she got married. It didn't give her citizenship because it's 1740s. So there's no such thing as citizenship. It just said, Dad, I don't want to go anywhere. Dad got better. Eliza was right. So Dad starts sending gifts over from England to kind of award their marriage. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. So indigo is a big deal for us. I don't know how long you guys been in town, but you've probably seen the word indigo somewhere. Indigo is a crop that makes blue dye, that makes our blue jeans blue. I don't think any of us are wearing it tonight, unfortunately, but that's how we still use it today. She had to experiment with it first, and she had to learn from her Gullah servants and slaves how to keep this plant cultivated in our weird temperatures. It's not always warm here, so it gets pretty cold. I mean, you guys have your cold seasons too over in Texas, I'm sure. But she had to learn. So once she experimented with it here, she was able to move it to a SNE farm in Mount Pleasant, turn it into a huge cash crop by using Dad's contacts overseas. Think of the term royal blue. That's where it comes from. It comes from her indigo crops. In the Civil War, this was obviously over 100 years later, but the Union wore blue, right? They wore navy blue, and the Confederate soldiers wore gray. The gray is just less indigo in the coat. So that kind of gives you a perspective of how far indigo went. Rice plantations were also going downhill, so she had perfect timing to swoop right in and actually make a full business out of what she was doing. So with that said, there's a lot of weird facts about Eliza. Eliza, obviously the age thing you can ask about. You can ask anything you want to about her death. So this is another place where we're going to kind of separate a little bit to give you guys a little bit of space to do what you need to do. We're going to spend about 10 minutes here. Hopefully the activity, because I'll be experimenting with this guy. Where was I? So her death, her age, when she died, what did she die from, where did she die, where is she buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So that was pretty important stuff, and she loves to brag about that. So hopefully you can get some clues or the direct name that comes out of that. If you're going to ask about the children, tread lightly, please, only because there's a tragedy in there. You start poking around too much around that tragedy, all activity stops. Okay. So, and you'll probably even feel it, to be quite honest. I've seen it a dozen times. So, and that's not just here, it's throughout the rest of your tour. Yeah. I don't know what it is about Eliza, it's like she dictates the whole half mile that I covered. You can ask what happened to the mansion if you want to. It's obviously not here anymore, so that's kind of an easy one to kind of come up with and see what year that actually happened. We'll just see what kind of comes up, because a lot of times things just start popping up, and they might not be answers to the questions you're asking, like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. But if I come over and I'm like, let me see the word list and what have you heard, I might be able to make some kind of sense out of it. It's not like she doesn't want to talk about her death tonight. She wants to talk about her husband, or Charles might be here. The other night, we were asking the wrong person questions. Everything that came up was about Charles, his birthday, his political party, you know, all of the things that he was doing with his life. I was like, damn it, you guys are supposed to let me know when you're here. Because I always go after Eliza because she has the more interesting life. Right. So here again, we're going to separate. Super. I'm going to experiment with this guy. I don't have a reading right now, but you guys will definitely hear it and see the flashes on my face when something gets close to it. Obviously, I can't stare at it for too long because I have epilepsy and I'll have to point it away from me. But at the same time, people get a little weird about their cars with cameras. So if somebody's coming up to their car, at that point, you're just holding a cell phone. So I do want to show you the evidence that I have from that camera, just so you guys have a better gist of what you're looking for. It is in this lot, and it's actually up in that corner up there, so that would be the southeast corner. Let me bring it up for you. Anything else going on with you that I need to know about, just from standing here for 5 minutes?
Just getting, like having to not really catch my breath, but like inhale deeper, if that makes any sense.
I think so. It's nice to have somebody to talk to about this, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because I understand. I've worked with psychic because I've had my own experiences, like personal kind of things that you're going through. I just don't like to bring that to the tours.
But it validates what you feel, and it's not, you know, when somebody else knows what you're talking about.
This is the wall that's up there, just so you guys know. There's two living people walking past that wall. Let me rewind it real quick so you guys can see them. They're going to be two heads above the wall. They will be orange, so they're living people. I left them in there on purpose to use as a reference. And now we're going to see two dead people going the opposite direction, coming from this side, right around that corner. They're going to show up right about now.
Oh, wow.
So firemen and mechanics use this particular camera as their part of their job. And I've analyzed it with them through Zoom calls, multiple people. And they're like, we can't explain it because they've been on the tour, that we've done the testing on the references. Can't be a car, it's too far away. You know, that kind of thing. So again, I have legitimate evidence from this. I have other pieces, I just haven't carved them out yet because phone calls have been so busy, and I actually took a vacation last week. But that's kind of the things that you're looking for, those really dark spots moving on their own. So have some fun, ask some questions, and let's not piss anybody off by filming their car.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I'm gonna play with I'm gonna see if that corner up there is available, and I'm gonna go play with this guy and see what I can do.
We just go right in through here, huh?
Yep, just make a round and see where she feels like she needs to stop. Normally I give you guys an EMF detector too, just to kind of get a baseline. Yeah. But I'm kind of using your intuition, and you're gonna see things popping up anyway. Okay.
Oh, well, so we can say, Eliza, how old were you when you got married? Eliza, how old were you when you had your first child? Eliza, what was the name of the plant that your father sent to you from England? Eliza, was Charles your husband in politics?
You're asking common sense answers.
Huh?
Ask questions you don't have answers to.
Oh, well.
How did your mansion get demolished? What happened to your home? Eliza, how old were you when your husband passed away? Eliza, how many children did you have?
I don't think any of the questions I asked I knew the answers to, but okay.
Eliza, where in England did your father live? Eliza, what did your husband do? Eliza, what caused your home
You get kind of a narrative whenever something like that is going off for me.
What?
Like, I don't know if you guys saw, but
I saw a green
yeah.
block.
So I mean, I asked her to go ahead and touch the end, like the metal stick,
Yeah.
just like that. I always kind of do a demonstration,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden she just kind of stayed there, and then the EMF was going all the way up to 45, back down to 3. You know, it was all over the place. So you're still on super.
Yeah, hasn't done another word.
Okay. You heard anything after red?
There's been all sorts of words on here.
Again, that's not the easiest thing to listen to.
Yeah, because there's so many different things being
Right.
said in the middle of me talking and not
It's a
talking.
lot different when you are not outside.
Yeah.
And if you're on a computer, your phone, or whatever
Yeah.
you're listening to it from. You know, I listen to it on the computer. I got headphones in there, so I don't bother anybody.
Yeah.
You know, that way I can focus on what am I listening to. And now we're back down to 0, which is super weird. It's all the way up to 19 a second.
You want me to grab that and take a walk with it and see what comes up?
Sure. What do you want to give up?
Oh, it says love. Now it's less than 30 seconds. Going up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You see all that?
No.
Look,
Hear it flipping.
yeah, it's going like high.
How high?
Like it was, if I'm not, because it did do double digits.
It'll go all the way over triple digits.
Yeah, it did 75.
Okay.
And it was flashing multiple times. Like it was
Where's it at now?
Now it's at 0. But when I was walking around, it wasn't doing anything, and I stopped, and it starts fluctuating.
because I didn't get any kind of answer out of Eliza, I went straight over to Charles and said, Charles, if you're here, maybe you ought to put your name on the box that I'm
As soon as you walked over, it went to 0. Nothing's happening. Right now, it's going to 3. Back up a little bit, babe, too.
I got the word press.
Now the numbers are moving again. It's going up high.
Charles, put your name on the box I'm holding. The blue box.
The 20s.
Or there's a metal stick in the box that Teresa's holding. It's got a red light on it. Just touch the metal stick, make it go, we'll see some light.
Did multiple flashes, right, babe?
Huh?
You did multiple flashes earlier?
Multiple what?
Flashes earlier when he was over there?
Uh-huh.
Come on, Charles, what do you want to tell us here? You want to give us the month that you were born in? So normally what happens with that is that, yeah, his birth month and death month are the same, so oftentimes it changes twice. So, and we're not in that month, so it's not like it's going to come up on the radio. That's what that's Once we requested electric birthday,
numbers aren't even high.
Yeah, they don't need to be. It's measuring 2 different EMFs. So again, this one is. Liza, tell us what day of this month that you died in.
What month did you pass away?
Has it, yeah. That one's too easy because we're in that month.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, again,
What month were you born?
there you go. That one's a lot different than that.
Or what month was Charles born?
Give him another minute and see what happens before I give you guys some answers and we'll move on. How you feeling? Okay.
What year was you born? Like,
Seeing anything goofy on there?
Uh-uh.
Nope.
Nope.
Getting bored. I see that yawn.
he probably has me right. Oh.
Just standing still.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for blue heads, but I haven't seen any.
Blue head. I got the word hernia.
Hernia?
I've never had a hernia. Alright. Organization. So Eliza died at the age of 70. So that was in 1793. So that's a long period of time and a long life for that time period. She died from breast cancer that we know of. So there's no such thing as breast cancer yet. So we're going based off her medical records. And that was in Philadelphia. So the words Philly have shown up here before. She's also buried there. So that also tells you why we don't actually go to cemeteries. Probably not going to hang out where you're buried. So I know the name of the tour is misleading, but it is what it is. But as far as the president, any guesses now that you know what year she died?
I don't.
1793. Let's see, that was after Lincoln, before Lincoln, no, Lincoln was 1870. I don't know.
Washington.
Who?
George.
I was going to say Washington.
17. Oh, he's still
You
president.
gotta
Yeah.
remember, there was only 13 colonies, so he was pretty close with his governors.
Yeah.
His son was governor. So he knew the family pretty well. He was also very grateful for what she did with her indigo crops. So that was a pretty big deal to him. We get the words like wood, Martha, apple, things like that will pop up here all the time when you ask about the president. So it's pretty significant stuff when it happens, often. What other questions? So there were 4 children. George was one that didn't make it past infancy, so we don't know if the baby was days or
That was
weeks old.
one question I asked: is how many children did you have?
Okay, so there were 4 total. George, Charles, Thomas, and Harriet was the only daughter. I do get terms around writing as well, because The daughter married in Horry, and Myrtle Beach is in Horry County, so that kind of gives you the distance of how far away the daughter moved. Seeing more and more homeless here out these past couple nights. So I know that guy's homeless because his house is big. But anyway, there's a lot of things dealing with writing, ink, letter, paper, and those kind of things, so I hear that often. I even had Harriet's name show up quite a few times. The mansion did burn down in 1861 in a Great Fire. So I'm sure you've heard of our Great Fires. We have dozens of them. This one in particular went from Peninsula Coast to Peninsula Coast. This building just happens to be in the way. So.
And I was getting fire, and I almost was thinking that I did.
So with the spirit boxes, we'll get anything related to fire, so smoke, cloud, black, anything related to that. Unfortunately, the only pictures we have of the mansion are after the fire. So we kind of have to speculate based on, her letters to Harriet. I think kind of covers. I did not tell you about Eliza. Was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. So they both go by their maiden name. So their maiden names usually show up here. They both start with L. We did get the word love. So it's like that's not it, but it is an L word. That was the first thing that popped in my head. But the one that planted the indigo was Lucas Pinckney, Eliza Lucas Pinckney, which would have made her father George Lucas, which is very ironic.
Yeah.
But the other wife was Eliza Lamb Pinckney, so Lamb like the L-A-M-B. That shows up here quite often. That way we know which one we're talking about. So from here, we are going to walk up 4 blocks past your hotel up to Lodge Alley. It's a brief stop, just because it's a quiet area. And it is next to a hotel. So we'll be there. I'll kind of let you know what that place is. On our spirit boxes, we'll probably be chatting, so we won't be listening so much as we are watching. We'll actually swap back so we can actually have time to watch, because this guy is going to go off anyway because of the parking meters, and we don't want any false positives. Yeah, I seen that. I didn't look to see if anything showed up before that while I was giving you the answers.
Burden was the one before, after.
But I'm looking for names along the way to Lodge Alley. I'll explain why once we get there. I don't like to put that suggested thought in anybody's head. But that kind of give you the gist of why we're going up to that area. Plus you're in Charleston, you probably already walked down that alley. You probably didn't realize what it was. Did you guys walk any alleys?
I have no idea.
We walked in one alley yesterday or the day before.
Do you remember which one?
It was the one right after the what's the name of the restaurant? Anson or something? Anson Street restaurant?
Anson's that one.
Huh?
Ansonboro, that one.
Well, then maybe that's not the name of the restaurant. It's like at the end of the block from the Market Pavilion Hotel. There's a restaurant on the corner. Was
Yeah,
that
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
Oh, Amen?
Amen. Yeah. So we turned right on that alley.
Okay, well that's
Went down.
exactly where we're going.
That's the only alley we went down.
I didn't realize that was an alley.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that would now explain why.
So am I still recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it rolling. We never know we're going to keep it going.
What?
No. I drink a little bit. I don't want
Yeah.
Huh?
Because what he said. He's like, what, do you need drugs? Because he's like, let's get together because that guy was homeless or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then that man told him, do you need drugs? He goes, no. And this popped up lovely. Arrest.
The word arrest came up on the last time.
I do. My wife has it, but I've got one.
That was hard to beat right there. Though.
Yeah.
I know.
High standard.
That's a good experience also.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's good. I just need to.
Right there. Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I'm not really sure that's what I'm scared of. Well, I even saw like for like $5 for the back. You do your own tour, and I was like,
Some of it's pricey, some of it's not.
My group's much larger, so I won't have much in my bag. Is this the alley you guys went down?
What's that?
Is this the alley you guys went down? Do you remember? Around the
Yeah.
corner from where you guys were staying.
Yeah. No, it was more of the street down there.
It's just a small group. I can kind of give you just as places we walk. Because again, it's a free stop. Parking up there, so we're going to have to scoot up to the right. But that last crosswalk we just passed on East Bay Street, that was where the original wall went up. So it went up Cumberland Street. Your Terra Drive, if you went up that way, probably pointed that out. This was one of the first streets we ever had. So this obviously the original cobblestone, these were clay bricks, hand-laid. But people used to live here. Some buildings on the sides of us weren't here. So I have a full list of residents of every person that's ever lived here, plus their occupation. So I get a lot of vendor names, but the common ones that I get are Benjamin and John. The interesting thing about that is there was a Benjamin and a John Johnson, Johnson that lives here in 1801. It's 2 out of the 5 residents that were here. I don't find it ironic that I get that maybe once every month or every other month or so, and it's always those 2 names together. So, right, they at least
yeah.
obviously, yeah, could have been possibly different last names, but could have been primary. This is the lodge alley, and every hotel has a claim upon rooms of some sort. None of them give me free rooms to verify. So until next summer, when I need new podcast episodes. But the Masons also used to be down here. The reason why this is called Lodge Alley is because this is the second Masonic lodge alley in Charleston. So that's why it's called Lodge Alley. You get the word Mason here. Very interesting thing to pop up here. I normally stop at larger group, kind of get that 4 days thing, but you guys are cool. It's just kind of nice to see some cobblestones and walk through an old city like this. that this car, and it would have you in a neighborhood. So we're going to keep that clear box off while there's customers there. I think I'm not allowed to get tour guide in the neighborhood. So it's going to be 3 times on the roof. Cars and signs and everything free.
Yeah, I mean, from the lady was saying, pretty much the whole area. Like, she mentioned somebody having, we go by a house that there was a tree or a main tree that had like glass bottles on it.
Yeah.
Have you never heard of that?
So that they have blue bottles.
Yeah.
So that's they call that it keeps paints away. Paints is on the
Yeah,
color
she was
now.
mentioning the word paint, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So it's a southern thing, very southern. So there's not many houses like that.
Yeah.
But the paint is the blue spirit, which does something about the color blue, and that goes with the color of the orbs too. So I'm sure you have a hot picture of the orbs. And there's all those colors in the orbs actually mean something. So normally the color blue is an advanced type of soul, so it's an advanced color on the color spectrum. So when something is hot in here, it's supposed to trap any kind of
Yeah, and she was saying about the trees on some of the houses, like in blue, you get to see another color. Jewelry.
that's you, isn't it? So something else comes up. It's related to you. Your name pops up after that. I had it happen. I'm not.
Yeah, I've had it happen on my app. It was very similar to this. I can't remember the name of my app. I'd have to check on my phone because it deletes the app by the week for 30 days.
Oh.
But it's ghost something. Ghost tracker or something like that. It's not
Oh,
green. I don't know. I have to check it.
Timestamps on the words, which means I can match them up to timestamps on the video. Not to mention the audio as well. So
I know. I smell weed.
well, my garage is literally like that, right past the Scotchman.
Uh-huh. See, and that's where we walked. That's probably why he thought that was an alley. We walked from there to there.
Ramp coming down. But like just the ramp coming down, you could just smell it. Taking over this alley, we're not going to go down there. I can't take you down there, but it is the prettiest spot we have in all of Charleston. Pictures day and night, absolutely. Because I'm going to play the ghost.
There are a bunch of people walking over there. Presidency future. Yeah, I did too.
Probably run into some other tour groups down here. Tour groups are funny because that's what you're going to do. I want to go to 10. So you guys see what walking tours look like. And most cities are like that. They go all the way up to 20. I'm not money hungry. I just want you guys to have a good time.
This was
We're going to let the rest of that group pass by. Thank you. No, you're welcome.
Oh, uh-huh.
You guys guys see the doorway in the middle of the wall?
Yes.
So that doorway, that used to be held dueling. And that's where all of our duels used to occur.
All your what?
The duels.
Duels? Okay.
So when there was a loser, they would pick up the big guy. Did you bring us all pizza, man?
I didn't know y'all was gonna do it.
Yeah.
You called me, man. But anyway, they would pick up the dead guy and bring him through the courtyard and then over to the cemetery that she was being very loud at. And they would drop the loser and then go celebrate the winner. But we all talk about one particular duel that occurred down there. And this, I tell that story because you get a lot of evidence from it, even from this far away. So there was a doctor that moved down here from Rhode Island. His name was Joseph Brown Ladd. So it's very common that his name pops up. That's why I say it so slowly. But he moved down here because he was supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. There was an attorney handling all the money from the dead parents. He said to Amanda, "You're not getting married yet, send the doctor away." So he moved to Charleston.
Competitor.
Perfect. So I'm telling the right story.
Yeah.
So with that said, the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. The doctor's a medical student still. He's coming here to start his practice, so he's probably dressed pretty dapper. So he looks like he's got some cash. So the coachman says, "Let's get this guy killed, we'll take his money, whatever." Somebody walks by and sees what's happening. His name is Ralph Isaacs. Ironically, has the same initials from where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. RI shows up here a lot. So with that said, sorry, I'm actually taking care of the tour. So him and Ralph are friends. And he takes him somewhere safe. He takes him to 59 Church Street, which is about a mile away. So with that said, 59 shows up here, the doctor's practice starts to take off. Amanda's moving down soon, he's proving his point. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. You can Google the Whistling Doctor of Charleston, and this is the story you'll get just as much as you know. So when they go see these plays together, the doctor has better seats because he makes more money than Ralph Isaacs. He's just an attorney. Attorneys back then weren't what we know of them now. So the doctor has better seats. They talk about these plays on the way home. The doctor loves the new actress that's in town. Ralph does not. They start arguing. All of a sudden, he starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home. So they obviously go their separate ways, pretty pissed off. Ralph is from here. Calls the newspaper, places an ad, tells the whole city what a disgrace the doctor is to the city. Obviously, the doctor sees the ad, he's pretty angry. He rebuttals with, "Let's go to the Dueler's Alley, we're going to settle this." Somebody's walking away dead. Whoever. They come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend, just wanted to make his point. However, Ralph still has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. He didn't die. He didn't come through the death gate. His friends pick him up, carry him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later, probably from bleeding out. It's the only way he knew how to heal himself. So they say as you walk through the alley, you hear the whistles from the doctor. It's a very interesting alley. Again, I've had whistles come up that I couldn't debunk. We have a lot of hecklers in town. I know when it's a heckler. Usually the word whistle might show up if I'm walking through on either spirit box, even the SB7. I've heard different things come out of that place. 2 weeks ago, just before I went on vacation, I was telling the same story in the word medicine, then Amanda shows up on that word list. I'm like, I can't make it any better than that, folks. Again, tons of legends on this one. What do you have now? Whoever. Alright, so the story that she's telling up there, she's probably dragging it out for like 10 minutes. Very simple. There's a sign right inside the gate to that cemetery that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. That's because in 1888, a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. She died 6 days after her stillborn child, probably from heartbreak. Now, 1987, we have a local photographer here. He's taking pictures. He captures a full apparition. A woman wearing a shawl, baby basket next to her, over that grave. It's 1987. No technology, no cell phones, no Photoshop. He sends it to Kodak. I don't have to explain what Kodak is to you guys, which is great. So, when I have kids, it's like, what the hell is Kodak? They don't have any clue. So anyway, Kodak can't debunk the picture either. It's a picture to guys like me, it's gold. It's perfect evidence. However, it's cursed. Females that hold it, same symptoms I told you about back at Big John's. Females that are pregnant and holding it, you're not going to have a good pregnancy. There's a reason why I don't show it on my tours. So she's probably flashing her phone around, showing everybody. If we get anything related to that particular story, I will always give you a warning not to click it unless you're ready. So definitely.
I had a hysterectomy and good.
Even still, I don't need you getting symptoms,
Yeah.
headaches, and nauseous, and all that other mess. Because trust me, I don't want that phone call 9 months from now. You had a great time on your vacation, and all of a sudden you got something wrong with your baby, and I'm the guy to blame because you opened the damn picture I showed you.
No, I don't have any babies.
Let's see what else is going on here. So, do you guys see the burning gas lamp off in the distance? Okay, so that is the pirate house. Don't go in his backyard. Somebody does live there. He gets angry. Don't ask me how I know. I'm back there waving K2 meters, and he comes out screaming. Just tell him to see if it's on it. That's where Blackbeard's men would come off their ships, and they would go get a drink, have a place to stay, but they also dug a tunnel from the pirate house 1 block over to Dock Street Theater. Allegedly one of the most haunted places in America, top 20, roughly. Do I have activity there? Not a whole lot, I'll be honest. I've been through it several times. But there's a lot of really cool stories there. But the reason why they would go to Dock Street Theater is because it was Planters Hotel at the time. They still had plays, there was a horror house there, and obviously it was another hotel to stay at. But pirates tie really good knots. So they would actually go work on the plays backstage, make a few bucks in between bartering with the locals. Blackbeard never set foot on our soil. Don't let any tour guide ever tell you that he was here, because he never did. He used to hang back with the ships. So I tell you that story so that you guys are kind of prepared for the final full investigation, like what we did at the Pinky Mansion site. It's a great, great story because I didn't even believe in it. The reason why it's so great to me is because I didn't even want to do it. I used to take people to Philadelphia Alley and then to another location, and that was the end. And then we found out that that's residential. I'm not supposed to be down there with noisy gadgets. I'm surprised we're not getting anything on your list. So that's why I'm like, we need to speed this along so I can get you to the last stop. But
They're probably more with her too.
yeah, I'm sure. Again, this is a very popular area. There's probably, again, about 15 stories up here that I can rattle off. So, and I can probably do a 3-hour
But I know
tour.
like spirits can get like
Irritated?
irritated with people like that, and they won't even.
Don't bother.
They purposely will not interact because they don't want to
Well,
satisfy
our
people
moon
like that.
phase is kind of hindering some things too. We're getting further and further away from the new moon. We're getting closer to a full moon. So as we get closer to the full moon, that's when things get kind of weird for me. It's the hit or miss, but with a new moon, I can almost guarantee it's going to be a great night, especially that particular night. It's kind of like everything resets for me.
Master.
Oh, that's interesting. So the walking is finished. No, it's not. We're going to go across the street.
And now it's like, what did I say? And now it's all happening. Now it's communicating.
So we have President's earlier. There's 2 sides to this cemetery. That's obviously the east side because that's the water. This west side actually has John Calhoun on it. That's our 17th vice president. So the interesting thing about that is he was actually on both sides because that's for native Charlestonians only. This is for everybody else. They didn't know where the hell he was supposed to go. So another carriage ride with every toy pretty much tells that story.
We drove by one little, I guess, cemetery, not graveyard, is what she called it, because it was in between houses and stuff, not
Yeah.
the church.
Yeah, so graveyard is on the attached to the church. Remember I told you about the Charlestown walls? This is the street where the wall actually came up. So it actually, the building we're going to be looking at is the one over there with the crosses on it. I'll let you tell the story over here because a lot of tours like to cut through here. They don't actually stop and go into this, which they should because that's the oldest government building we have on the East Coast. It's finished in 1713. But the wall actually went up Cumberland and about half a block past the powder magazine and then started going south towards the battery. So the reason why this is literally tucked into the corners is because it held gunpowder. Probably it's like 7 different wars. So they didn't want it to get, attacked by any means.
Yeah,
So
the magazine thing or the
Right.
the powder magazine. We drove by it today.
did they tell you about the sand in the roof?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't
Yep.
have to go into all of that.
Nope.
Did they also tell you that that is not a working thing that actually works? That the sand puts out the fire?
No.
I had another powder magazine closer to the battery, much closer to the water. So if you think about our geography, it's a little bit closer. It did get attacked. The sand went up and it fell over the sand, but didn't put it out, and the whole building burned to the ground.
Yeah, they said that never got hit, but this got hit a few times.
Yeah.
So the St. Philip's Church, just from the earthquake, is a little bit off.
Yeah, yeah. They told us that too. Yeah.
A little weird. For
It's hard to.
That's why I like to find
hard to
out
tell.
if you guys have been on other tours. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have little weird facts like that for the people that haven't. But anyway, so let's talk about why this building is so important to the story I'm going to tell. This building.
Cotton. That's crazy. But cotton is relevant with this area.
It is. I'm just this story.
Okay,
I'm going to have
gotcha.
to dive in and see what the crop was that they had. So that's a possibility.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put my finger on it yet. This building was built between 1703 and
Simple.
1713. Okay, so I'm going to keep it simple. So let's do that. 1708, in between this building, the years that it's being built. Again, we don't have many buildings this old, so it's something familiar. That's why it's attached to this building. Young lady moves here with her dad and his mistress, who happens to be the girl's mother. You guys with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
They're all getting away from his wife. Okay, so pretty scorned lady in Ireland. They move here 1708. That's a hell of a ride to get away from a scorned woman. So that's all I'm gonna say. I just moved 2 hours away to get away from one scorned woman down here. But
Delay.
yeah, I'm delaying. So as they're here,
Victoria.
obviously. Oh, wait, that's a possibility too. We're talking about pirates here shortly. That could be the name of a ship. Okay, good stuff. Again, stuff I don't know. Can't rattle off
Yeah,
the
and
top of
stuff
my
you'll
head.
end up, you know, researching and finding more
Exactly.
stuff out on.
As she sees this building being finished, Anne Cormac turns into a teenager. Pirates start rolling through town. She falls in love. His name's James Bonnie. Dad doesn't prove he's a filthy pirate. So, what do? They move to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny, most famous female pirate ever. So, when they get down her, she wanted a kick-ass Captain Jack Sparrow type guy. This was not him. This was a privateer. He was a spy for the British. He's a coward. So what does she do? She falls out of love with this guy and falls in love with somebody else. His name is John Rackham, aka Calico Jack. So Calico Jack used to steal the clothing from his people he killed, and that's why he was called Calico Jack. Very dapper guy. He wasn't always clean, because he's a pirate, but he had nice
They
clothes.
always change them.
So she wants to be part of his ship. Wasn't Victoria. Females curse pirate ships.
Public.
So he says, you have to dress like a dude in order to get on my ship. You could be a female in my quarters, but you're going to dress like a guy on the crew. She's like, whatever, because Dad used to do that back in Ireland to hide her from the wife. So she's used to cross-dressing. Not a big deal for her. So obviously being a female in his quarters, she eventually gets pregnant. What's Calico Jack do? Can't have a pregnant guy on the crew, so he drops her off in Cuba. Says, go have the baby. These are friends of mine. Come back. We'll figure it out later. She has the baby, comes back with no baby, and she's dressed like a girl. Calico Jack is now next. So what does she do? She goes down below deck to start flirting with the guys that he just captured from another pirate crew. So one of those people that she's flirting with reveals their gender to be a female, pretending to be a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So obviously we have another girl on board. She convinces this young lady, her name was Mary Read. Sorry, got the ladies mixed up. Mary Read to become part of the crew. The British fleet attacks the ship, the entire British fleet. One of those ships may have been the Victoria. That's what I was thinking, was the British. And it's literally Anne Bonny and Mary Read fighting back, and all the other men are down below deck, too drunk to come up. So, obviously they get taken, including Calico Jack. All the pirates down below deck get tried and hung pretty quickly. Meanwhile, while they're being captured, the ladies tuck their hair back underneath their pirate hats, and they're going to reveal their gender in front of the Chief Justice later. His name was Nicholas Loss. Yes, my name shows up quite a bit in Charleston, which is funny. But they're tried a week later. They reveal their gender. He doesn't care. He's going to try and hang them anyway. We plead our bellies is the next step. So they're both claiming to be pregnant. He says, I don't care. I'm going to just delay your hanging until after the babies are born. Dad's still here in Charleston. He bails out Anne, brings her back. What we know from there, she got married again, guy number 4. Yes, we're counting Mary Read. It has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. As far as Mary Read, she dies from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. So use your imagination. So, crazy story, a lot of twists and turns, a lot of holes. I've read 5 different books on this woman. This is a place where I tell my people, this is the expert level, ask whatever you want to. Just kind of let me know what you're asking to see if we're getting answers. We're going to stick to the side of the building for now because a lot of the tours like to stop in the front. We'll check out the front, we'll collect devices, and we'll call it a night. So let's go see what we can capture. Let's get that spirit box turned up a little bit. We won't go too loud because these are apartments behind the powder magazine. He's tired of holding the camera. Move the story along so I can get him going. this out, like as we're walking through East Bay Street and places like that, because of the parking meters. The electrical lines for that are underneath the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So, what time do we have? I don't even look at the time.
10:18, 10:13, 13. Yeah.
I don't even look at the time. I'm not It just went like all the way up to purple, which is like the next to the last one.
Okay, how do you get rid of this?
Maybe we don't. There we go.
Okay.
I want that kind of activity again. What do we do?
So those crosses probably have nothing to do with their religion, huh?
No, those are earthquake bolts.
Oh, those are bolts?
Yeah, those are the very first set that we put in. You seeing this? And went all the way to the highest one.
Start our boat.
Okay, what was the name of the boat? That's interesting.
Whoa.
And you can see it's on 0.
That's what it was doing to me.
What was the name of the boat? Calico Jack's ship. What was the name of it? Okay, let's look for a pattern. Nope.
Maybe I got excited because I asked if those crosses were religious.
And Bonnie, being the girl she was not religious. It's pretty small. Like you see how close you have to get. So that phone isn't really getting off. It's not connected.
And it was doing it when I was over there.
That's why they call it ghost hunting, Dave. You gotta move around.
Dancing.
No shit.
What is it?
It says dancing.
Dancing. Yeah.
He just told you to move around.
I don't get any activity here at all. Like, I'm just being bluntly honest.
Yeah, now you are. You said that over there you were.
And Pink Dimension sites, I get activity. But even over there, it wasn't going as high as it is here. You can change the range on these too. So it's only on 2, so I can make it bigger, which makes it go all kinds of crazy. See, I mean, it'll go nuts from here because I only have to be that close to make it go off versus getting as close. That's why I like to make it small. I'm gonna leave it on 2. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. Make it go to blue again. Little journey down the background. Is that an idiom for what they had to do to go on a journey? Make it go to blue again. Tell us the name of Calico Jack's ship. That would be great. Stay there. The cool thing is he's filming us right now, so hopefully we can hold the spots. I have the temperature turned off on this, the thermometer. I can't see if it's getting colder or not. I've seen that.
What is the name of the spirit that I
What is she doing? She just telling ghost stories or something?
I stay pretty good. Try to stay out of it. Doing that damn jewelry.
She said jewelry, maybe it's you and your bracelets, and it's your bracelet.
So last night, something hit my elbow. The only thing I seen around me was like a dead leaf, and I was standing over there. And I'm like, of course, the video didn't show it. Couldn't see it.
So afraid. But I never took my bracelets off for a little bit. I get a little worried.
One here, and another one.
You need to put me on a bracelet. Shake.
Just being sensitive to moving. Stop moving around. Almost fine. Step away from it. Step away from it. Thank you. Okay, get closer again. Closer than you were.
Make it turn blue.
So the next thing we're going to do is, because I have a full spectrum lighting, get a GoPro, somebody else will be videotaping, with the spectrum lighting on there so we can see the fancy. I have lasers and stuff too, that kind of thing, but if we had a full video of it, I think that would be interesting. Get any other towns, just on my eyes. I've never had this much activity. And like, what's funny is the regular EMF isn't really starting.
Yeah, that's what was happening in the meeting. The numbers weren't doing much when it was going on. And the numbers were high when it wasn't going on.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna call it. I think we have enough recording from here for us to be able to determine. I think that's honestly, I think a lot of it's gonna be jolting. Look at how high it went. And I have it turned down really low.
But it's not doing the lighting.
Why should that be off? I'm gonna start collecting devices and still hear the loud tour guide in front. So hopefully that recording gave us.
I did not just turn this up. Unless
You know what's funny is that thermal imaging camera is faulted here several times. About 2 months ago, I was up in the front up there, and it was a small group like this. The person's videotaping me and the person with the red spirit box. A white film comes over them, and the red spirit box is quit. You can see it right in the video. We walk away about 10 feet, it starts back up again. On record, no less. And it takes 3 buttons to get that thing to record, because you gotta start the sweep, and then you gotta hit the record button. Alright, let's take that guy from me first. Good job, it's still recording. We only have one extra video to splice for you guys, which is not that big a deal. So, I'm normally done with all of your, sorry, everything goes in a specific way. The wife set these up, she bought me extra cases, thinking she was helping. But I'm usually done with all your data by noon, so don't freak out if I'm not done, it just means...
Did you just email it, or?
I texted to you.
Okay.
That's why I text you, hey, all this mess, and then, you know, where are you traveling from, so that way I can make sure you can get text from me.
Okay.
But you'll see, like, on the web page, I separate it by month, so we're on the 20th, so you'll stay relatively from the halfway mark up top, because I always put the news tour at the top. All of the questions about my books, the reviews, all of that kind of thing. You were asking about the apps and the tools, the stuff I use regularly. It's all listed there with links and all that mess to get there. Ghost hunting, yep, that's it.
I think that's what I'm having.
Ghost hunting tools is what it's called. And just pay for the upgrade, it's so much worth
Ghost
it.
detector.
Hit it for me, see if it's the same one.
Oh.
So I think another one uses that handprint too. I'll take the camera.
No, alrighty.
He's like, oh, good, I can put it down. Nice. I know.